and everything that is around. Forget about the animals and the environment. We're slaughtering one another alive. Look at what's happened in Gaza. Unbelievable. A group of people who themselves were badly treated, humiliated, and put into gas chambers, went through Holocaust and a miserable experience, inhuman and barbaric. Nazis, the way they treated the Jewish people. It's ironic that they perpetrate very similar crime against another group of innocent people at their doorstep. How barbaric can we be? We leave a human being to look after itself, it destroys one another. It kills, it maims. 21st century Muslims are those custodians who stand firmly against such behavior. They stand firmly so that they stop those abusers and oppressors from oppressing. One prophet said, help your brother even if he's an oppressor. So the companion said, the Prophet of Allah, how can we oppress? How can we help an oppressor? The Prophet said, by stopping him from oppression. Stopping him from oppression. Custodian's responsibility is highlighted by the statement of the Prophet where he says, if you see an evil, stop it with your hand. If you see an evil, if you see an evil, stop it with your hand. If you can't, then speak against it. And if you can't, at least hate it in your heart. And that is the lowest stage of your faith. Lowest, that you hate it in your heart. You're so weak and so much, you become so downtrodden and so back, and you are so lowly that you can't do anything worse, but at least you can hate it in your heart. Custodian, and we must be, as Muslims in the 21st century. Therefore, we must be relevant. Therefore, we must be involved in every sphere of the world today. We must serve the world through justice and excellence. But to do all of that, there is a very stark and sad reality that we must face. We need to take stocks of where we are today. As Muslims, where we are today, we need to take serious stocks. A revision is badly needed. A revision is badly needed for the Muslims. I repeat again, this talk is not about Islam, it's about the Muslims. A revision is needed within the Muslim communities up and down the world. Majority of the Muslim world is ruled by dictators and despots, illegitimate regimes who rule by iron grip, with military might and brutality that is beyond human. Why? Why has the Muslim world allowed such brutality to continue? Why? I asked my Egyptian brothers the other day, why have we allowed a dictator to rule you for 35 years? Why haven't you done anything about it? Oh, we can't. He is very brutal. But how many is he going to kill? Oh, sorry. Not only has he ruled through sheer brutality, but he's also changing the constitution so that his son can continue the curse of dictatorship and despotic lifestyle on the Egyptian people. Why? If our Malaysian brothers and sisters could realize freedom, if our Malaysian brothers and sisters could realize some sort of reform within their country in political realm, why can't the rest of the world do the same? Pakistan one day is ruled by generals, another day by a civilian, someday it's the same person in two different uniforms. Why? So there is a serious problem within the Muslim world that we need to revisit and revise so that we can tell the world where the problem lies. That's one example. Muslim world today has the largest amount of wealth. 60% of the world's wealth lie in the Muslim world. 60% of the world's wealth. And yet Muslim communities, by far in the world, the most poor and live below poverty line, mandated by the United Nations Charter. $1 a day is the line. Muslim communities in most parts of the world live below $1 a day. It's a disgrace. Somebody asked me the other day, why have you Muslims become so synonymous with ignorance? Why have you become so synonymous with ignorance? What do I say? No, we're not. I will be lying. Well, once upon a time, we're almighty knowledgeable. Well, that was 500 years ago. What happened in the last 500 years that you've not been able to become similarly enlightened again? We gave rise to science, of course. We invented trigonometry, algebra, we invented the astronomy, astrology, all the science that we see sophisticated today. Muslims invented binary mathematics, by which we today calculate computing and computation. We invented the art of operation, including how to operate cataract. We invented what we call the most sophisticated, most complex science on the face of this earth, when there was none. And then we went flop. We stopped. Others took over and they became better at it. Why? What's gone wrong? What's gone wrong? We need to revise and revisit and ask ourselves those questions. Thirdly, in the revision process, you and I are stuck even theologically. You and I are stuck even theologically. Look at the priorities that we have within some of the Muslim communities. Priorities are, I remember when I was in another country giving a lecture, somebody asked me a question. Brother, is it sunnah, is it the tradition of the Prophet to brush your teeth with a siwak, with a toothstick? And is this sunnah better than using toothbrush? Somebody was asking me this question. I was gobsmacked that Muslims would even think like that. Why are you asking me this question? What we have done is we've reduced the sunnah from the action to the means. At the time of the Prophet, the toothstick was the main means of brushing his teeth. So literally, yes, it is the sunnah the Prophet did. But the spirit of that sunnah is to brush your teeth. If something makes your teeth brush better, clean better, keep your gum cleaner and healthier, you should use that, because that would be following the spirit of the sunnah, the illah of the sunnah, the maqasid of the sunnah, rather than be stuck. If you wish to use a toothstick, it's not a problem. Carry on. But don't go into debates and arguments as to which is a better sunnah. There's a problem here. There's a problem here. How do we undo this problem? How do we undo this problem? I'll give you another example. Somebody walks into the mosque to lead the prayer. There's a mosque where there are a group of people praying, and the imam is not there. The functional imam, the one who is paid to lead the prayer, is not there. So they're discussing between themselves who should lead the prayer. In fact, they're not deciding. They're not discussing. They just decide on one person. The person they decide goes to the front to lead the prayer. And he leads the prayer. He's hardly able to read the Quran correctly. But what was the basis on which they decided this man should lead the prayer? I'll tell you what it was. He had a big beard and a long robe, which was distinct from the rest of the congregation. The rest of them were wearing shirts and trousers. So a man of holiness must be represented by the longer robe. Let him lead the prayer. Something wrong. Something has gone dramatically wrong in the psyche of our community. What's gone wrong? The third amongst the problems of theology, or at least the discussion that we are having, is the fatwa dependency culture that we have. Dial a fatwa, email a fatwa, text a fatwa. Yes, there is a verse of the Quran where Allah says, فَاسْأَلُوا أَهْلَ ذِكْرٍ إِن كُنتُمْ لَا تَعْلَمُونَ. Go to person of knowledge if you have no knowledge. It seems like we have no knowledge at all. So for the most basic, we go to people of knowledge. But that's not the idea. The idea is you will have a knowledge base first. And when you are confused about a complex issue, you'll go to somebody who's an expert. But we go to our scholars readily, and the scholars, quote unquote, say anything.